Hello students, we are with the second topic of paper 1 syllabus. Already we have discussed half wave rectifier circuit in the previous session. Now in this session, we will see next type of rectifier. As a sub-content of this topic, center tap type full wave rectifier circuit. In short, it is also called as FWR. Abbreviation FWR also used to represent the rectifier circuit full wave rectifier. In this session, you will see idea of construction of the full wave rectifier circuit by using center tap type of a transformer. You'll understand in brief its working with the help of waveforms, and likewise half wave rectifier. We will again list out here an important parameters with their definition as well as equations for the full wave rectifier circuit. We shall begin with the first content, construction diagram for the full wave rectifier. If you observe circuit diagram carefully, unlike of transformer used in the previous circuit of half wave rectifier, you'll find here primary terminals are P1 and P2 are connected with the AC main supply. But beside the two secondaries, here one more terminal used on the second coil. It is used at the exact center of the number of turns of winding of a secondary. Therefore, it is called as center tap terminal, in short CT. So in all, there are three terminals S1, CT and S2. Across them, rectifier circuit constructed by using the two diodes D1 and D2. If you observe here, diode D1 is connected at secondary S1 and D2 is at S2. Their cathodes together brings the rectified DC positive output. Whereas negative output can be brought from the center tap terminal. We can use as negative, and sometimes or many more times we treat negative as a ground level or 0 volt value, not the earth ground, circuit ground, which has the zero potential, right? So across the load, we will get rectified DC output. So diodes D1 and D2 will work here as rectifier. The output voltage after rectification will be available across the load between cathodes of two diodes and center tap terminal. Resultant output PO will be as a DC. So this is a very simple construction by use of a transformer. Remember here, for this type of rectifier, always we need center tap type of a transformer, without which construction of the circuit is not possible. This is as one of the drawback of this circuit. That means we can't construct circuit by using transformer without center tap terminal. Or even likewise half wave rectifier you have seen, if lowering of voltage is not required, we can construct circuit without transformer. But this one always need the center tap type of a transformer. Beside that, if you observe number of turns of winding of primary and number of turns of winding of secondary, primary number of turns are very large. Therefore, it is basically step down type of a transformer. Beside that, it is also a center tap type of a power transformer. Is this clear? We'll go for its working. We can divide the working likewise what we did in case of half wave rectifier into two parts, positive half cycle and negative half cycle. Let's see here what happens if AC mains input is in transition of positive half cycle. That means potential at primary P1 is a positive, whereas potential at the primary P2 is of a negative during the positive half cycle of input AC. P1 is at positive and P2 is at negative potential. Same is the polarization, same are the polarity for the secondary voltages across S1 and CT and S2. Remember here, induced voltage will have the same direction. But here, since there are three terminals, amount of voltage produced between S1 and CT will be equals between the CT and S2 as a two half windings, one upper, other is lower one. So equal amount of voltage get induced or produced across the upper winding of a secondary coil as well as lower winding of secondary coil. Nature of waveform remains same but with low voltage. So voltage present between the S1 and CT or CT and S2 becomes as the actual input for the rectifier. So here at this instant, what do you find? We find that S1 is at a positive potential. At the same time, S2 is at negative potential. So positive voltage goes where? Anode of a diode D1, whereas at the same time, anode of diode D2 is held at a negative voltage. Therefore, diode D1 is in the forward bias condition and D2 remains in the reverse bias condition. Effect of which diode D1 will turns on and D2 will goes into the off condition, behaves like the open switch. Result of which the conduction of current possible only through diode D1 because D2 is in reverse bias, it will not conduct any current. Now, as per standard conventions, direction of current, if you observe, current will start from the positive voltage and it will end on the negative voltage as per the conventions. So current start from, if I trace the path of current, the path for the flow of current will be here. It begins from the S1, then it comes through diode D to this junction. Now, as if it arrived here at junction, there are two branches. One branch through the RL, second branch through the D2, but D2 is open. So, current through D2 will not be flow. Therefore, this branch will be open. So, current will have to flow through the load. Then it comes to the junction CT, it end on the CT. So as if current flows to the load, direction of flow of current is plus to minus. We will get DC output across load given by the formula current into resistance, that is well known to you. So we will get DC rectified output. The path for the flow of current is here. We'll trace out the path once again. It starts from the plus voltage present at S1 and end on the minus voltage present at a center tap terminal across upper winding. At present, voltage present across lower winding is not utilized here. Only voltage present in upper winding is to be bring the resultant output used. Therefore, the path for the flow of current from S1 through diode D1, then through the load RL, it ends on the center tap terminal. So in this way, resultant nature of waveform present between the S1 and CT will brought same as it is to the output. So we'll get the output VO equals to the voltage present across the upper winding in the same nature. So positive half cycle present between the S1 and CT will brought same as it is to the output as a part of rectification. Let's see here what happened during the negative half cycle of AC input. So during negative half cycle, as you know, polarity will get exchanged. P1 becomes at negative voltage, P2 becomes at the positive voltage. Same is the polarity between the S1 and CT as well as CT and S2 because equal amount of voltage get induced. So voltage present across this S1 and S1 and CT or CT and S2 becomes as input. Here input voltage becomes the voltage present across the lower winding. Why it is so? Minus voltage for D1 and the plus voltage for D2, that brings diode D1 under the forward bias condition and D2 remains in the reverse bias condition. So D1 is in forward, so D1 is in reverse and D2 in forward, means D1 will be in off condition but D2 turns into the on. Therefore, D2 will conduct the current but D1 will not conduct the current, and as per convention, current always start from the positive voltage through D1. It will flows towards this junction. Here this path is a block because diode D1 is in off condition or open circuit. So current will take the path of load RL. Then it comes to the center tap terminal CT. In this way here, the flow of current again likewise previous here from top to bottom. So upper is a plus potential and lower is the minus across RL. So we will get the nature of waveform across RL in this cycle as the conduction of current through the through D2, same current flows through the RL. As a result, we'll get the output voltage. The path for the flow of current, we can test once again here. The path becomes from S2 to the CT through diode D2 and through the load RL. Nature of the flow of current through the RL is from top to bottom as a load current IL. As current flows, as per our discussion, we'll get the voltage VO equals to IL into RL. So nature of this voltage will be same that of previous half cycle. Here negative half cycle will get inverted into positive as a part of rectification. So current always flows from top to bottom. Will get the DC output in both half cycle. In this case, positive negative half cycle present in the lower half carries the conduction of current in such a way that current remains as a DC current from top to bottom. Will get resultant DC output. So in the unlike of half wave rectifier, we find here in full wave rectifier, in both positive half cycle as well as negative half cycle, there is a continuous flow of the current. Therefore, complete cycle of AC input will be rectified by using the full wave rectifier. Hence, it is called as full wave rectifier circuit. We can understand the operation again by using the waveform. Say, one complete cycle of input, second half cycle, I have drawn here for the input waveform versus time. It is found that during positive half cycle of AC input, diode D1 is in on state. Therefore, same half cycle present across the upper winding brought at the output. Whereas during negative half cycle, D2 turns on. Therefore, negative half cycle is inverted at the output. We'll get the DC output for both positive as well as negative half cycle. So full cycle of AC input will be get rectifier. Therefore, this circuit to be called as full wave rectifier circuit. Is this clear? Now we'll learn one by one various parameters of rectifiers. Likewise, we did with the half wave rectifier. First one is here, that is average or DC output voltage. Now method remains same. Remember this, calculation of the voltage is not in syllabus. Just I have shown here only for sake of understanding. Will not be asked in the exam because it is not the part of syllabus. So likewise, what we did in the half wave rectifier, in case of full wave rectifier also, we can find the average value of DC voltage produced at the output by formula area upon the base that you can see with the help of previous waveform. Area we can find by throughout the one cycle 0 to 2 pi as limit of integral Vi d theta. Base is of 2 pi for one complete cycle. If we solve this integral, we can split into two parts. Vi means V peak sine of theta, right? But same value of voltage present at output during the positive half cycle of angle 0 to pi variation. But for second angle, second half cycle, pi to 2 pi, input cycle present is get inverted into the output as per our working. If we solve this both integral, you'll get the 2 Vp 2 Vp equals to 4 Vp as result of simplification. Place the value of this area 4 Vp in the formula 4 Vp upon 2 pi. What happens? What left only? Average or DC voltage equals to 2 Vp upon pi, or 2 upon pi if we simplify, it becomes 0.636. Therefore, resultant amount of DC voltage in the full wave rectifier is double that of half wave rectifier as an advantage over the half wave rectifier. Is this clear? We'll go for next one, that is DC or average current as a second parameter. Notation is IDC. As if we have got the DC voltage in previous case, you have seen that VDC can be as 2 Vpeak upon the pi. We can find the DC current as simply ratio of DC voltage upon the resistance connected at the output of rectifier, VDC upon RL. But what is VDC? 2 Vpeak upon pi. If we rearrange it, it becomes 2 Vpeak upon RL into 1 upon pi. 2 Vpeak upon pi can be as 2 times peak value of current. 1 upon pi remains over there. So 2 by pi becomes 0.636. Therefore, DC current also double that of your half the rectifier. It is 0.636 times peak amount of current present in the output is the required value of DC current that flows to the load. You can also call as a load current. Third one as ripple factor. Definition remains same. A reverse value of AC component present in the output upon average or DC output voltage is known as ripple factor. Ripple factor is used to measure what amount of AC component present in the output of rectifier. Ideally, as we have discussed, it should be of zero value. We want only DC, no AC in the ideal case. In case of full wave rectifier, it is found that after certain calculations, not the part of syllabus, ripple factor comes to be about 0.482. Very, very small as compared to half wave rectifier, it is of 1.21. Therefore, in case of full wave rectifier, we will get the more DC than the AC present in the resultant rectified signal. Thus, we'll get the pure DC as compared to half wave rectifier. Come for the next one, ripple frequency. Definition remains same. Frequency of ripples means DC pulses present in the output of rectifier is known as ripple frequency. In case of full wave rectifier, if you observe the waveforms, for one cycle of input, we have got two number of ripples. Because negative cycle get inverted into positive one. Thus, this is the first ripple, this is the second ripple. So in one cycle, there are two ripples. So frequency of ripple is double the frequency of AC input. But frequency of AC input is how much? 50 Hertz. So 50 into 2, ripple frequency for the full wave rectifier becomes 100 Hertz. Have you followed this? We'll go for the next one, fifth one. Efficiency of rectifier. That is given by, it is defined as ratio of DC output power to the applied AC input power. Now, as compared to the half wave rectifier, it is found here that DC power PDC is more than the half wave rectifier, because complete cycle is being rectified at the output. Therefore, PDC upon PAC means DC output power upon AC output power. If you multiply this by 100, you'll get in percentage. Eta is notation here. So rectifier efficiency in case of full wave rectifier is about 81.2. There are the losses in transformer. Therefore, we can't get the same percent efficiency. But anyway, it is very, very high as compared to half wave rectifier. Then the next one, that is the peak inverse voltage of diode in the rectifier circuit. Definition is known to you. Maximum value of voltage that appear across diode when it is in reverse biased condition in given rectifier circuit is known as the peak inverse voltage of a diode in the given rectifier circuit. In case of full wave rectifier, we know that during positive half cycle of AC input, diode D2 is in reverse bias condition, whereas D1 is under forward bias condition. Therefore, let us find here what amount of voltage will appear across D2. Remember that the peak voltage present between secondary means S2 and CT is of Vp. Idea will be more clear with the help of diagram. Here primary, secondary are there. Input is at positive half cycle. Same half cycle produced between S1 and CT and between CT and S2. Presently here, diode D1 is in on condition, but D2 is in off. So D1 can conduct through it very easily, right? But no current can flow through the D2 because D2 is in off condition. That means it is under reverse bias condition. Our aim here to calculate the voltage across D2. See here, the peak voltage present between S1 and CT will transfer to the load. This V peak will brought to the load. Now, between these 2 points, this is as a 1 point, this is as a second point S2. We have the diode cathode at positive, anode at negative. Across this, there are two voltage sources, Vp across load plus Vp across lower winding between CT and Vp. Therefore, CT and S2. Therefore, resultant voltage that will appear across diode can be as V peak present across load plus maximum voltage V peak present across the lower winding between CT and S2. Therefore, 2 V peak as resultant voltage that will appear across D2 when it is in the reverse bias condition. Thus, the peak inverse voltage condition can get interchanged for negative half cycle. 2 V peak will appear across D1. So we can get here, in case of the full wave rectifier circuit, the peak inverse voltage of a diode is double of the peak voltage present between the secondary and center tap terminal, or the peak voltage present at the output of rectifier, which is the drawback of this circuit over the full wave, over the half wave, as well as next coming one, a bridge rectifier circuit. Is that clear? Let's see here now the illustration with help of equations. We can discuss, we can write this concept once again for better understanding. So what happened here? Upper total voltage across D2 can be as voltage across the load plus voltage across lower half winding of a secondary of a transformer. That means Vp plus Vp, that becomes equals to 2 Vp. So PIV equals to double of the peak voltage, as one of the drawback of center tap type of full wave rectifier circuit. Now, likewise, what we explained in the half wave rectifier, let us try to understand here. PIV rating. Meaning of PIV rating, the rating means maximum value given by manufacturer of diode. That should be at least or more than this 2V. Because at any case, voltage across diode in a circuit under reverse bias condition should not exceed the limit given by the manufacturer as a PIV. So it is a maximum allowed reverse voltage across the diode given by its manufacturer. If we apply reverse voltage more than this, diode will get damaged. Therefore, we must select diode in practice with the PIV rating should be at least 2 Vp or more than 2 Vp. Is this clear? So PIV rating should be at least equals to 2 Vp or greater than 2 Vp in case of half full wave rectifier circuit. Then come for the last parameter here. That is diode current rating. Potential is IO. Amount of current flows through diode, either D1 or D2, will be of equal, because D1 current in half cycle positive, D2 current in negative half cycle, means conduction of current through both of them will be of equal in value. That is known as a diode current. So in case of full wave rectifier, as I said, load current is the summation of current through D1 during positive half cycle plus current through D2 during negative half cycle. So resultant current IL can be as IO1 plus IO2. Suffix 1 for D1 and D2. I suffix O1 means current through diode D1, and IO2 means current through diode D2. Sum of this will be as a resultant DC output current or a load current. But conduction of a current through the D1 and D2 will be of equal value, say of IO, and load current we also call as a IDC, given by VDC upon RL. Put this value in equation and simplify it, you will get IO can be equals to 1/2 of DC. That means 0.5 times IDC or 0.5 times of load current. Now, current rating. Manufacturer of diode will provide us maximum current limit that can be allowed to flow through it without its damaging. That is called as diode current rating, or also called IO rating. So in case of full wave rectifier, this current rating should be at least equals to 0.5 of IDC or half of load current, or it must be greater than this value. Then and then only diode can withstand without damaging. So while designing of the circuit, while construction of circuit, we must select a diode in our circuit. If the DC current is known to us, half of DC current we can find out. More than that value should be of a diode current rating. That diode we are going to use in the circuit. Otherwise, diode will get damaged. So all these about the various parameters of full wave rectifier. In our next session, we'll see about the next part, that is actually, before that, let me have advantage of full wave over the half wave rectifier one by one. it rectifies complete cycle of AC input, whereas half wave rectifies only half cycle. Secondly, output voltage is more as compared to half wave rectifier. It is double actually, because both the half cycle are brought in the output in rectification. Then ripple factor is just 0.482, very small, less than the half wave rectifier. Means in case of output of full wave rectifier, less amount of variation or less amount of AC component is present as compared to half wave rectifier as its advantage. At the same time, there are a couple of drawbacks of half wave rectifier, sorry, full wave rectifier. First one is what? It needs the center tap type of transformer for its construction, without which we cannot construct the full wave rectifier circuit. And tapping the secondary coil at a center and attaching one more terminal is a time consuming process in the fabrication process of a transformer. Therefore, the cost of a transformer get increase excessively. Therefore, the cost of circuit will also get increased. Remember that cost of transformer without center tap and the cost of transformer with center tap will be more or will get increased. Therefore, the cost of circuit will get increased, as one of the major drawback of this circuit can be minimized by using the bridge rectifier in the next session. Then the second drawback is it cannot be constructed without transformer. Half wave or a bridge we can construct without transformer if we don't need to step down or step up the voltage level. But this one we cannot construct. It always essential, always need a transformer, and it should be of a type center type of transformer. And the third, one more drawback is the peak inverse voltage of diode is double. Means diode used in the full wave rectifier have to withstand with double of peak value in reverse bias condition. 2 Vp. In case of half wave, it is just only Vp. Therefore, the life of diode will get decreased as one of the drawback. All this drawback we can overcome by using the third type of circuit, that is the bridge rectifier circuit. We'll see about it in our next session.